Will and Logan continued along the snowy path, and soon found two familiar faces standing in the middle of the road.
So, as I was saying about undying,
Papyrus said before turning to see two figures standing a few feet away from him. He looked back at Sans, who was looking at the figures. They traded looking at Will and Logan, then looking at each other, before doing it so fast they spun in place. Will was confused by this, but Logan was pretty entertained by the hilarity. The two skeletons then turned away to talk in private.
Sans! Oh my god! Are those humans?
Papyrus asked, and turning back. Actually, I think those are rocks, Sans said, pointing out the pile of rocks behind the two real humans.
Oh,
Papyrus said with a sense of disappointment in his voice. Hey, what's that in front of the rocks? Sans asked.
Oh my god!
Papyrus said with excitement before going into a whisper.
Are those humans?
Yes. Will and Logan proceeded to facepalm at this situation.
Oh my god!
Papyrus yelled.
Sans, I finally did it! I'm dying, Will. I'll be so popular!
Papyrus realizes he's been saying this out loud and gathers himself.
Ahem! Humans, you shall not pass this area! I, the great Papyrus, will stop you!
With what, super long monologues? Will thought, but Papyrus continued.
I will then capture you both. You both will be delivered to the capital. Then... I'm not sure what happens next. In any case, continue. Only if you dare.
Papyrus then walked off, laughing his from before. Sans then turned to the two humans standing there, a bit bored. Well, that went well. Don't sweat it, kids. I'll keep an eye socket out for you, he said before catching up with his brother. Well, that was interesting, Logan said first. You think that
the great Papyrus
will stop us? Will asked, with a pretty good Papyrus impression to boot. Who knows? Maybe we should start moving if we want to get this over with, Logan said. True. Let's go. They continued along the path. Some odd things happened as they continued. The phone Will got from Toriel rang, and when he answered it, it was a person who seemed very nervous trying to order a pizza, then hung up. They also encountered a watchdog who was easily spared by being petted. Pet? Never mind, moving on. They meet with Sans, who told them about blue stop signs, and that was it. When Will and Logan continued, they heard a familiar voice yelling at someone.
You're so lazy! You were napping all night!
They continued forward to find Papyrus yelling at Sans while standing in front of a large square in the snow. I think that's called sleeping, Sans replied.
Excuses!
Papyrus yelled, then he took notice of the two humans standing opposite of him.
Oh, the humans arrive! In order to stop you, my brother, my trainee, and I have created some puzzles. I think you'll find this one quite shocking.
Both humans were confused by this. They only knew it had some sort of electrical pun to it.
For you see, this is the invisible electricity maze,
Papyrus told them. That explains the empty square, Logan thought.
When you touch the walls of the maze, this orb will administer a hearty zap. Sound like fun?
Logan shook his head while Will just stood there.
Because the amount of fun you probably have is actually rather small, I think.
Papyrus continued.
Okay, you can go ahead now.
You go first, Logan said, pushing Will, who stumbled onto the maze. He heard a noise and was waiting for the shock to hit him, but it never happened. He looked up to see Papyrus covered in black soot from getting shocked himself.
Sans, what did you do?
He yelled at his brother. I think the human has to hold the orb, Sans replied.
Oh, okay.
Papyrus then proceeded towards the humans to give him the orb. To his unknowing, he left tracks in the snow of the correct path through the maze. He held his hand out to Will with the orb.
Hold this, please,
he said. Will reached for the orb, but Papyrus threw it into the air and ran back to the other side. Will caught the orb in his hands and looked through the maze and saw the prints were still there.
Okay, try now,
Papyrus yelled from the other side. Come on, let's get this over with, Will said as he grabbed Logan's arm and dragged him through the maze, following the prints. When they got to the end, Papyrus seemed impressed.
Incredible! You slippery snails! You solved it so easily! Too easily! However, the next puzzle will not be so easy. It is designed by my trainee, Marvel. You will surely be confounded. I know I am.
Papyrus said before hurrying along the path. Will and Logan were a bit confused as to who this Marvel was, but they must be someone semi-good with puzzles. They approached Sans to speak to him, but before they could ask, he spoke first. Hey, thanks. My brother seems like he's having fun. By the way, you see that weird outfit he's wearing? He made that a few weeks ago for a costume party. He hasn't worn anything since. He keeps calling it his battle body. Man, isn't my brother cool? Yeah, but I have a question about this trainee he keeps talking about. Who are they? Will asked. Oh, the new kid my bro keeps talking about? Yeah, he was in Snowdon one day, and he asked Papyrus if he could be in a secret royal guard. Kinda like extra help from the shadows. Of course, Papyrus said yes. He's been teaching him stuff ever since. Will we meet him? Logan asked. Yeah, he'll be with me and Papyrus on the next puzzle, Sans replied. He then walked along the path ahead to meet with Papyrus. Well, what kind of monster do you think Marvel is? Logan asked. I'm thinking goat. You? Will replied. I'm thinking another skeleton. Let's go find out, shall we? Will said, continuing along the path. As they walked along, they saw a small ice cream cart, or in this case, an ice cream cart. They bought 2 for a snack after everything that's been happening. There was also a snowball on the ground with a hole not that far away. They worked together to get the snowball there, and when they did, a small orange flag popped out. They took some pride out of this, and moved on to find the 2 skeleton brothers talking again.
Human, I hope you're ready for...
Papyrus started, but interrupted himself.
Sans, where's the puzzle?
I don't know. That's the one who made the puzzle, Sans replied.
True! Marvel, where's the puzzle?
Papyrus yelled to the path behind him. It's right there, on the ground, Marvel said, coming down the path. Will and Logan tried to get a good look at the trainee, and didn't expect what they saw. From the path behind the 2 skeletons emerged a small figure around as tall as Logan. He had straight brown hair, and wore an orange and brown striped sweater, a cowboy hat, and a pair of black rimmed glasses. There was also the fact that Marvel was human. Trust me, there's no way they can get past this one. Sans even helped me out on it, he said. Will walked forward to a piece of paper on the ground, only to find it's just a word search. He walked past it and talked to Sans, Papyrus, and Marvel.
Sans! Marvel! That didn't do anything!
Papyrus complained. Whoops. I knew we should have used today's crossword instead, Sans replied.
What? Crossword? I can't believe you said that! In my opinion, Junior Jumble is easily the hardest!
Papyrus protested. What? Really, sir? That easy word scramble? Marvel asked. That's for baby bones, Sans added. Will snickered a little at their rambling.
Unbelievable! Human, solve this dispute!
Papyrus said as he turned to Will for an answer. Will then heard the voice ask a question. Which is harder? Jumble? Crossword? He thought about it for a second and decided to agree with Papyrus. He thought he needed the support.
Ha! Ha! Yes! Humans must be very intelligent if they also find Junior Jumble to be so difficult.
Papyrus exclaimed with a triumphant tone before rushing off. Sans turned to Will to speak with him. Thanks for saying Junior Jumble, just to appease my brother. Yesterday he got stumped trying to solve the horoscope. Wow, I feel bad for him. But anyways, nice to finally meet the trainee, Will said, extending his hand to Marvel. Marvel shook his hand and smiled. Nice to meet you too. Will, was it? Will nodded and followed up with a question. Does Papyrus know you're human? No, he doesn't. Thankfully, I've only been doing puzzles and avoid getting captured. Wow, under the wing of someone who's trying to capture the kind that they are. That's brave of you. Thanks. I should probably head after him. Don't want to keep his trainee waiting. Okay, see ya then, Will responded as Marvel ran off to find Papyrus. He was about to continue, but Sans stopped him. Don't you want to get your friend there? He said, pointing behind him. Will turned around to find that Logan is filling in the word search. Seriously? What? Between you and Papyrus, it was getting boring before we could move on, Logan responded. Come on, let's go, Will said, heading down the path. Logan got up after him, but before he caught up, he handed the word search to Sans. Sans looked at it and saw that he finished it. They'll do just fine. They continued on to find a plate of spaghetti on a table with a piece of paper on the ground. Will picked it up and a voice spoke in his head again. It's a note from Papyrus. What's it say? Logan asked. Will read it aloud in his best impression of Papyrus.
Human, please enjoy the spaghetti.
Sweet, Logan said as he started towards the spaghetti. I'm not done, there's more, Will shouted to stop him. Aww.
Little do you know, the spaghetti is a trap, designed to entice you. You'll be so busy eating it that you won't realize you aren't progressing. Literally shaped again by the great Papyrus. Papyrus.
I'm still eating the spaghetti, Logan said, going toward the spaghetti. He tried to pick it up, but he couldn't get it off the table. Hold on, let me try something, Will said. Logan stepped back, and Will stepped toward it. Just as he thought, the voice spoke. It's a plate of frozen spaghetti. It's so cold, it's stuck to the table. Yeah, you ain't getting that off there. How would you know? You didn't even touch it, Logan said in anger. I just know, okay? Will protested. He then noticed a familiar object behind Logan, a glowing yellow star. He approached it, and the voice spoke again. Knowing the mouse might one day find a way to heat up the spaghetti, it fills you with determination. Then the two buttons appeared with the black box. He put his hand over the save option, and the words changed. This only marked a checkpoint for the amount of puzzles that were in store for the two humans.
The Great Papyrus.
Okay.
So, as I was saying about Undyne, that was horribly done. I, the Great Papyrus, shall say, so, as we as... The Great Papyrus... There! Oh-ho! Woohoo! Mario!
I need water after this.